Okay, so today let's start laying down on our belly. So downward facing Shavasana. And you're going to play around with this a little bit. You can have your arms by your side. You might find that you need a block or a blanket for your head, and you can be resting on a cheek, or you can be resting on your forehead if that feels okay. You can have your arms up overhead. That might feel a little better. You can even make a little pillow with your hands. So lots of different options. Just get comfortable here. Have your feet a little wider than hips distance apart, and then just kind of let your legs do their own thing. And then take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go, ha. Couple more times like that. So you're letting the Mondays go so far, the weekend, all of that. Sighing the breath out. And then eventually you're going to find this place of stillness. So inhaling through your nose, creating that soft rush of air in the back of your throat. And then exhaling through your nose. Noticing if one feels easier than the other today. Noticing how it feels to breathe like this starting on your belly. Does that kind of change how the breath feels? And then if you have your cheek turned to one side, just turn it to the other side. If you're just resting on your forehead, you're welcome to stay there. Notice if your attention starts to wander, come back to the sound of your breath. You might have to do that 1,000 times the next hour. Good. So if you're resting on one cheek, come back to center. Just bring your fingertips underneath your shoulder head. So our cobra pose setup, and we're just going to flow here a little bit with the breath. Just warm up these muscles in the back. So starting on your forehead, make sure your elbows are squeezing in, your shoulder heads are lifting. Maybe you bring your feet a little bit closer. So they're hips distance, maybe even a little closer. Press down into all 10 toenails. Feel those inner thighs spiral up. As you inhale, chest extends forward and up. Keep those elbows squeezing in. Starting out, this does not need to be very big. As you exhale, you lower down. Inhaling through your nose, chest extends forward and up. Feel that stretch across your heart and chest. Exhale, lower. A few more like this. Inhale, coil on up. Exhale, lower. Inhale up. Good, exhale, lower. And then inhale up, just hold here. So make sure that you're not tucking your chin too much or throwing your chin up towards the ceiling. Split the difference so your neck is nice and long. And then as you exhale, move towards looking out over that right shoulder. You might not get all the way over there, so just getting into the neck a little bit. Still breathing here, smooth and steady. Good, and then we come back to center and exhale. Bringing your gaze out over that left shoulder or moving in that direction. This side might feel different. You're just noticing. Good. Come back to center on your inhale. We're going to do a little shoulder neck stretch here. You might need a block or a blanket for your head, but we're going to take our arms out wide so you can just rest on your forehead, starting out here. You're lengthening back through the legs, so you're thinking cobra pose feeling. So let's start to bend our right elbow. And then also, if you know that you're tighter in your shoulders, you're probably going to angle this left arm, kind of like split the difference. So you're not coming directly by the side, but a 45-degree angle. If you know that you're a little more open in your shoulders, you can just try with wrist perpendicular to shoulder. Right, so we're gonna lay down on our left cheek. All right, and then we're gonna start to flip this right leg up and over. And then you're just taking a few breaths here. So there's a lot of places you can feel this. This can be really tight in the neck. You're pinning that left shoulder down so you can feel a lot of sensation there. The lower back, you might be getting some sensation. So stay here if this is enough. You might have a blanket or a block underneath your cheek, your ear. If you want to stretch this right arm up and then just lean that arm back a little bit. So feel that stretch across that half of the chest. Smooth, full breaths. That inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose. Good deep inhale. And then as you exhale, release down. So find center. And again, you're just deciding what you want to do with this right arm. Bend that left elbow, come up onto your fingertips. It's like your little gecko. Turn onto that right cheek. And then flip around here. This side might feel different. So angle that right arm however you need to be in this pose. And you can just be, it's kind of like you're flipping your downward dog. So you're on those left toes. Maybe you stretch this left arm up, lean back a little bit. That pins that right shoulder down a little more. So you're going to feel a little more sensation there. Breathe into it. Back out of it if you need to. Good deep inhale. And as we exhale, we unwind. So let's come back into that cobra pose. So elbow squeeze in, shoulder heads lift, press down into all 10 toenails. And then exhale here, press to your tabletop, and then just move into some cat-cow. So inhaling, arching. Exhaling, pressing the mat away. Round in, find lots of length in the back of your neck. And then just moving at a pace that feels good to you here. Eyes are probably closed. Gaze is inward. So you're just getting very curious. You're paying attention to all of the physical sensations happening in your body today. You're noticing how things are feeling. You're noticing where there's a sense of ease, where there is a sense of tension. Good. A couple more rounds here like this. Already it might be feeling a little easier, a little more spacious. All right, inhale, come back to neutral spine. Walk your hands forward a couple of inches so we no longer have shoulders over wrists, giving ourselves space for a downward dog. Curl those toes under. Keep a bend in your knees as you start to lift your sit bones up towards the ceiling. So with this bend in the knees, you get that length through the sides of your waist. Press into all 10 knuckles in your hands. Start to form muscle to bone. Feel the inner arm wrap towards the outer arm. And then maybe start to melt your heels back any amount. And that can be really intense. So again, bend the knees as much as you need to in your body right now. Make sure that your ears are lining up with the inner arm, the bicep. So you're lengthening the back of the neck. You're gazing between your feet. Couple more breaths. Observe too if maybe you're finding yourself fidgeting a lot. We often do that in downward dog. So when we find this place of stillness right away, sometimes that feels a little strange. Okay, nice and easy here. Start to walk your feet forward to meet your hands. And again, a bend in your knees so that you can find like lots of length through the sides of your waist. As we inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward, fingertips on floor, hands on shins or thighs. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, lengthen, shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other. Exhale, fold. Couple more, inhale, lengthen forward. As you exhale, fold in. This time root down into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. You can reach them forward and up if that feels good, or if you're in a tight space, As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. We start to move into our half sun salutes here. Feet about hips distance apart, second and third toe forward. Inhaling, reaching. As we exhale, we hinge forward, fold in. Good, inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Exhale, fold. Press down into your feet, stretch arms out and up. Find lots of length and spaciousness as you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Inhaling, reaching, Utthita Hastasana into Dasana, extended mountain pose. Exhale, fold in, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Pressing into your feet, stretching arms out and up. Good, as you exhale, hands come together at your heart. We have 3 more. You're just gonna move with your breath, or you can follow along with me. If you know these well, sometimes it can feel really lovely to close your eyes. There's no rush. You're finding your rhythm. You're finding the pace that feels good to you today. So moving with that rhythm of your breath. Good. And you're just pausing, palms together at your heart, eyes closed. When you finish that 3rd round, checking in, noticing how you're feeling. There might be a little heat inside your body. The heart might be beating a little faster. Just observing these physical sensations. We're going to start to add on here. So as you inhale, arms reach out and up. As you exhale, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Keep your gaze forward. Step your left foot way back. Land on that knee. Inhale, rise up, Anjali-asana, low crescent pose, beautiful. As you exhale, hands plant, curl your left toes under, sneak that right foot back to meet the left foot, plank pose, take an inhale here. All right, so as we exhale, we're gonna shift forward. For this first one, we come to our knees, elbows bend halfway, pause. Exhale the rest of the air out as you lower onto your belly, tops of the feet press, inhale, low cobra. Exhale, press to your tabletop, curl toes under, downward facing dog. As you inhale, your right leg lifts. Be careful of things behind you. As you exhale, do you know what I lied? Put that foot back. As you inhale, left leg lifts. As you exhale, step that foot through. Land on your right knee. So second side here. As you inhale, arms reach up, Anjali-asana. As we exhale, hands come down to the mat. Curl right toes under, and you're gonna step that right foot to meet your left foot. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in, feel the back of your neck lengthen. Sit bones stretch up, press into your feet, stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Inhaling, reaching. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, chest extends. Left foot stays forward. Stretch that right foot back, land on the knee. Direct your tailbone down as you stretch arms out and up. Outer hips squeeze in towards each other to give you some stability. Exhale, hands come to the floor. Curl right toes under, step back to plank. Take an inhale here. Exhale, shift forward on toes. You can lower your knees or do full chaturanga here. Hover it halfway wherever you're at. Land on your belly. So this time as we inhale, we come into our low cobra. If you're ready for an upward dog, drag hands back. Make sure wrists are under elbows. Inhale, press into the tops of your feet. Straighten your arms. Legs really active. And then we make our way back to our downward facing dog here. As you inhale, right leg lifts for real this time. As you exhale, step that foot through. Land on your left knee. Inhale, rise up. Beautiful. As you exhale, hands plant, curl left toes under, and then you step that front foot or back foot to meet your front foot. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in. Pressing down into your feet, stretching arms out and up. Good. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Let's move into a full sun salute. Inhaling, reaching. Good. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Let the back of your neck release and lengthen. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Bend your knees, plant your palms, right foot back, then left foot. Take an inhale, legs really active. Exhale, shift forward, lower halfway. You can hover here or come all the way down. Inhale into your low cobra or your upward facing dog. Legs active wherever you're at. As you exhale, you pull back downward facing dog. We take a few breaths here. Make any of those tiny little adjustments that you need to. And then find your place of stillness. Feel the front of the leg firm to the back of the leg. Feel muscle firm to bone. So entire body is really active here. Feel those sit bones stretch up towards the ceiling as you lengthen through the sides of your waist. As you inhale, little bend in your knees, come to your tippy toes. Look where you're going. End of your exhale, you can walk forward. You can step right then left. You can lightly hop both feet through. Inhale, chest extends. Exhale, fold in. Pressing down into your feet, stretching arms out and up. Good. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. One more like that. Inhaling, reaching. Stay tall. Hold on to this length as you exhale, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Keep looking forward, bend knees, plant, palms left foot back. Then right, stretch out this exhale, lower halfway, hover or all the way down. Inhale into the back bend of your choice. Good work. As you exhale, you pull back, downward facing dog. Tiny little adjustments and find that place of stillness. Let the breath slow down if it started to speed up. And then let's inhale, lift our right leg up. Keep your hips even, outer hips squeeze in towards each other. As you exhale, step your right foot through. Okay, and then I want you to heel toe your right foot to the left twice. Spin into the back edge of your left foot. Inhale, windmill arms up and over. So we find our Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, just straighten that front leg. Exhale, sink in. Inhale, straighten front leg, reach arms up overhead. Good. Exhale, sink in nice and deep. Feel shoulder blades release down. Flip your right palm up. Inhale. Reverse your warrior. Exhale, press that front leg to straight. Good. Inhale, torso upright. And then as you exhale, shift your hips a lot to the left. Reach, 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 reach. You're going to take your hand to your thigh or your shin, or you're going to grab a block if you have one. I should have set that up sooner. So fingertips come to the block behind your foot. Shoulder blades stack on top of each other. So we are in our triangle pose, Trikonasana. Good. You can be gazing down, forward, or up. As you inhale, lengthen through the right side of your waist. Seal into the back edge of that left foot as you exhale. And let's get into the shoulders a little bit here. So spin your palms to face behind you. Good. Bend the elbow. You can press your hand against your spine. Maybe you can get your fingertips to the inside of that right thigh or grab a piece of shirt, that lower right waist. We're trying to really release this left shoulder head back. Gosh, it's a Monday for me talking today. Check in with that left leg, make sure it's really active, and make sure that you're pressing to the inner edge of your right foot. So from this wrap, if you want to get into the core a little bit, you might have to lift out of this pose. Strong legs for a couple of breaths. Extend your right fingertips forward. Keep pressing to the inner edge of your right foot. Keep breathing. Smile a little bit. This is intense, I know. Good. Exhale, release that hand down. If you took that variation, inhale, stretch your left arm up. Take up as much space as you can. Good. On your next inhale, come on up. And then exhale, we bend in nice and deep. Take an inhale here. Exhale, windmill your arms up and over. So palms plant, spin onto those left toes. Keep your gaze forward, step back to your plank pose. You can skip these if you'd like. And just go to downward dog, chaturanga vinyasa. Moving with your breath. These are great for building heat. It's like a sauna in my house today, so I'm not sure I want more heat. If that's you, you don't need these. All right, here we go. That little sequence to the second side. So as you inhale, your left leg lifts. Keep the hips even. As you exhale, you're gonna step that foot through. Okay, so you're gonna heel toe it to the right twice. Spin into the back edge of your right foot. Your left heel is intersecting that right arch. Windmill up and over. So hip opening pose, a little different than our crescent pose. Inhale, front leg straightens, legs really active. Edges of the feet squeeze in. Exhale, sink in. Good. Inhale, front leg straightens, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, sink in. All right, flip that left palm up. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, press to the inner edge of that left foot as you straighten that leg. Inhale, legs stay like this, upright your torso. And then exhale, really hinge at this hip crease. Stretch, 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 stretch. When you can't get any longer, again, hand to thigh, shin, or block, books behind you, really nice. And just adjust so that your shoulders are stacking on top of each other here. Press to the inner edge of the left foot as you seal into the back edge of that right foot. And feel this big stretch in the inner leg, outer hip. Breath smooth and steady. Gaze soft and gentle, whether that's down, forward, or up. Lengthening through the neck, so sometimes we can lean the neck back, protect the chin. Think extension of the spine here. And then spin your right palm to face behind you, start to bend the elbow. So we're just getting into that shoulder. It's kind of that feeling that we had when we pinned that shoulder down at the beginning of class. So hand pressing to your spine, maybe fingertips come to the inside of your thigh. If that's not happening, it's probably just because your limbs aren't long. Maybe the muscles are a little bulkier. Just go where you need to. Okay, so fire up the legs. Maybe you lengthen forward. Extend left fingertips forward. So reaching out just a few breaths. It's intense. And if it doesn't feel good, you skip it. One more deep inhale. Exhale, release that left hand down. Inhale, stretch your right arm up. Take an exhale here. Good. Inhale, upright yourself. And then as you exhale, bend your left knee. Take an inhale. Exhale, windmill arms up and over. So again, you step to plank. Maybe you step back to downward facing dog. Take a chaturanga vinyasa if you would like one. Few breaths here. Really make sure that the back of your neck is lengthening. And then as you inhale, you're going to find a little bend in your knees, come to your tippy toes. End of your exhale, you're going to step left then right. You're going to lightly hop through. You can walk forward however you need to get there. Inhale, chest extends. Exhale, fold. Pressing down into your feet, stretching arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. So finding a nice little Tadasana mountain pose here. Start to root into your left foot. Come up onto your right toes, open that hip. You can stay here with toes on the floor. Maybe you lift the sole of the foot to your shin. Maybe you reach down, see if you can step that foot a little higher. So above the knee, palms together at your heart. Smile a little, breathe a lot. Find something to look at in front of you that isn't moving. And then put your brain in your foot. That standing foot, so you're just going to notice all those little micro movements happening to keep you upright. Go ahead and extend your arms up. Just imagine that somebody is holding onto your wrist, gently pulling you up. And then maybe you start to bring your gaze up. And if you fall out of this pose, it's no big deal. You just make your way back in. Good. As you exhale, hands come to heart center. Release that right foot. Find your mountain pose. You can release your arms by your side. So side B, rooting into your right foot, come up onto your left toes, open that hip. This right hip wants to pop off to the side. Squeeze it into the midline. Use your belly to help you find that. You can stay here like this. This is the pose. You're getting all of the work. Maybe you lift the foot a little higher. Maybe you reach down just to help lift that foot into your thigh. And even though this pose can look really static, there's actually so much happening. So all these micro movements in that standing foot. The breath is moving through your body, so that's happening too. Good, stretch your arms up. Maybe start to bring your gaze up. Just play with the balance a little bit, challenge yourself. Make sure that breath keeps moving. Good. As you exhale, hands come to heart center. Go ahead and find your mountain pose. So Tadasana, standing nice and tall. And then we find a little more flow here. So you're at the top of your mat. As you inhale, arms reach out and up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Let's keep our right foot forward, step your left foot way back. Good, land on that knee. All right, root down into your left palm. Start to twist to the right, so shoulder blades stack on top of each other. Think triangle pose in the upper body. Keep pressing to the inner edge of that right foot. And then option to stay here, or maybe you curl those left toes under, firm that thigh up. So full crescent twist. Gaze forward, down or up. Good. As you exhale, release down. So just walk your right foot off to the right a couple of times. You can turn the toes out to 90-degree angle. Bring both hands to the inside of that foot. And then just start to melt in here. So nice big hip flexor stretch. You're gonna feel this perhaps in that right groin, outer right hip. You're welcome to lower on to your forearms. And I didn't mention it, if you were in your full crescent pose, you can lower that back knee down. You could keep your toes curled under here too, though. That's just gonna intensify things. So lots of options as to where you can be. Keep breathing. This isn't easy. Good. So if your knee is lifted, press it down. Start to frame that right foot with your hands. Curl left toes under. All right, so keeping your hips this low, step to your plank pose. Take a chaturanga vinyasa if you'd like, or pull back to your downward facing dog. These chaturanga vinyasas, always optional. Sometimes we take all of them, sometimes we take some of them, sometimes we take none of them. As you inhale, you're gonna lift that left leg up. As you exhale, you're gonna step that foot through. So land on that right knee. We find our little twist here. So rooting into your right palm, starting with the back knee down from this lowermost right rib. Spin to the left. Shoulder blades stack on top of each other. Gaze down, forward or up. You're pressing to the inner edge of this left foot. That knee wants to wing off to the side. Do your best to keep squeezing it in. And just as in our triangle pose, try to keep that length in the cervical spine, so that upper spine, the neck area. If you want to curl those right toes under, come into the full pose here. Feel those shoulder blades release in towards each other. One more deep inhale. Exhale, release. So let's just say lower to your knee. Heel toe that left foot off to the side a little bit. You can have your toes pointing out at a 40-degree angle. And then start to slide the right knee back as much as you feel able to. Feel this stretch to the inside of the left thigh, the groin, the hip. You're welcome to come to forearms. It's a little lizard pose here. And you can also curl those right toes under again. If you're doing that, think extension forward through your sternum as you reach back through your tailbone. So you're getting nice and long, gaze forward. Breath smooth. Okay, if you've got those toes curled under, right toes, release that knee. Good, heel toe, left foot to the right. And then curl right toes under again. So plant your palms, step back to your downward facing dog or to your plank pose. Take an inhale. Exhale, lower halfway, hover or all the way down. Inhale, low cobra or upward facing dog. As you exhale, downward facing dog. Good, and then we're gonna inhale, lift our left leg up, so same side we were just on. Exhale, step that foot through. Make sure you're not on a tight rope here, so walk that left foot to the left a little bit if you need to. Maybe find a little bend in your right knee. Inhale. Rise up, full crescent pose. Good, as we exhale, hands come to heart center. Palms press in towards each other. Good, as you exhale, start to twist to the left. So you just might stay here like this, vigorously pressing palms. Maybe you start to hinge forward, hooking that right thigh, or I'm sorry, that right elbow to the outside of that left thigh, pressing palms towards heart center, firming up that back leg, or you could lower down onto that knee. Gaze forward, maybe looking up over that left shoulder. Good, one more deep inhale. Exhale, palms plant. All right, so left foot steps back to meet right. From here, pull back downward facing dog or take a chaturanga vinyasa. From here, we inhale, lift our right leg up. Exhale, step that foot through. Make sure you're not on a tight rope. So walk that right foot off to the right a little bit if you need to. Inhale, rise up, crescent pose. You can have a little bend in that back knee. Sometimes that just helps to release the tailbone down. Exhale, palms to heart center. Vigorously press, so activate the arms a lot. All right, as you inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, empty out, twisting from that lowermost left rib. Start to twist to the right. You can stay here like this, pretty upright. If you want to hinge forward, so getting in nice and deep. Snuggle that left elbow to the outside of your right thigh. Firm up that left thigh a lot. Maybe even lower the knee if that feels like the better variation for you today. Are you breathing? Are you still pressing palms to heart center? Good, one more deep inhale. Exhale, unwind. We're gonna step our left foot to meet our right foot at the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in. Good, pressing down into your feet, stretching arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Close your eyes here. Let everything slow down. Take a few breaths. Just see where you're at. Check in. All right, blinking your eyes open. If you do have a couple of blocks, have them at the top of your mat. And we're gonna step wide on our mat. So we're gonna set up for our triangle pose again. So you wanna just grab one block and place it behind your right ankle to start. So edges of the feet are parallel with the edges of the mat. It feels like you're squeezing the edges of the feet into the midline. Turn this right leg out to 90 degrees and then spin these left toes in. We're checking for our right heel to intersect our left arch. So hip opener in this front leg, but this left hip is releasing down. At the same time though, we want to keep our torso squaring towards the long edge of our mat so the torso isn't coming along for the ride. All right, so as you inhale, arms reach. Good, as you exhale, we find our triangle pose again. We've been here before, we're just approaching it a little different. So hinging at this right hip crease, lengthening through this right side of the waist. See how long you can get. If you're at home and you don't have props, hand on thigh, shin. If you've got the block or a book, it's just really nice. Just make sure that that right wrist is landing under your right shoulder. And you can kind of think Vashisthasana. So we've got a little side plank pose happening here in our upper body. Your shoulder blades are squeezing in towards each other. Press a little more to the inner edge of your right foot. Seal into the back edge of your left foot. We're going to transition into our Ardha Chandrasana. So if you're a little more seasoned at this and you want to challenge your balance a little bit, you're going to keep your top arm up. Otherwise, your left hand is just going to rest on your left hip. Keep chest open, but just bring your gaze down. All right, we start to bend our right knee. Walk your block forward about a foot. And then start to shift the weight into your right foot. Lift from the inseam of that left leg. You can see I'm wobbling a little bit here. Your foot is flexed, so your toes are pointing forward. We have taken triangle pose, we've turned it on its side. If you're a little hyper flexible, you're going to want a little micro bend in that right knee, that standing leg. Nice work. Okay, so from here, we're gonna start to unwind. So this is where you're gonna want that second block potentially. So both hands come to the block, you square off your hips. So now they're facing the same direction. Your left toes are pointing down. All right, and we're gonna just do a little core work here. So inhale, lots of length. Exhale, curl knee into nose. So you round a little bit in your upper spine. Inhale, stretch back. This is like a little modified warrior three. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, curl. 3. Good, inhale, lengthen back. Good, exhale, get in nice and tight. 2. Inhale, stretch back. Exhale, curl in. 1. Good, inhale, stretch back. Okay. So we start to open up. So we find that Ardha Chandrasana again. Nice. Bend your right knee and lock. See how gentle you can transition back in to your triangle pose. That was great. As you inhale, press on up. Parallel your feet. Release your arms. And then you can grab your blocks, just put them the back side of your mat. And we take that little sequence to the second side. So little triangle to Ardha Chandrasana with some core work. So generous stance from deep within this hip socket, left hip socket, turn that leg out to 90. Right toes turn in. We are heel to arch, left heel intersecting that right arch. Torso squaring forward. Inhale, arms reach, even though the legs are doing two different things. Exhale, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Through that left side, feel this inner thigh, pull back, and then hand to thigh or shin or block, adjust so that you can really stack shoulder blades on top of each other. Big, big hip opening happening in this front thigh. See if you can lengthen a little more through the left side. And then we're going to make this transition to our Ardha Chandrasana. So it's the same pose that we're doing now, except for that we're turning it into a balance pose. So if you need to bend your right elbow, you're welcome to do that. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit, stay here like this with that top arm extended. Keep your chest spinning open, but just bring your gaze down. Bend your left foot. your left knee rather, walk the block forward, and you can step that back foot in a little bit if you need to, or you can try to lift from the inseam of that leg and just shift your balance into that front leg. So right toes pointing forward, that foot is flexed. Shoulder blades are stacking on top of each other. You're still spinning those left ribs up towards the ceiling. One more deep inhale. Exhale, right hand comes down to block. You square your hips so they're both facing down here. So this is like a little modified warrior three. Deep inhale, you can slightly gaze forward. Exhale, curl in. Good, inhale, lengthen that right leg back. Exhale, curl in, knee to nose. It's fine if you bend that left leg as you're doing this. Inhale, stretch back. Exhale, curl in. 3. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl in. 2. Good, inhale, stretch back. And exhale, curl in. 1. Inhale, stretch back. And then start to open up that right hip. Open up your chest. So hard transition. Do the best you can. Nice work. Start to bend your left knee a lot. Lightly step that right foot back. Find your Trikonasana pose, triangle. Press to the inner edge of that left foot. As you inhale, come on up. Parallel your feet. Step your feet together. Good, let's do a little back bending. So a little bridge pose. We're gonna do a little active bridge pose and then we'll come into supportive bridge pose. So just have a block handy. So we're gonna lay down onto our back. So knees bent, ankles underneath your knees, edges of the feet parallel with the edges of the mat. You can just rest your arms by your side here. Pressing the center of the back of your head, gazing straight up at the ceiling. So this is one of those poses where you don't want to look side to side as you come into this. So just keeping the spine nice and long. We're just going to move with the breath here. So as you inhale, I want you to notice how there's that natural curve in the lumbar. So observe that. But then as you exhale, start to direct your tailbone forward, press into your feet, lift up. Inhale, stretch your arms up overhead. Good. Exhale, release arms by your side. And then we're going to inhale, release the hips down. Again, find that natural curve. Exhale, lose the curve as you direct your tailbone forward, hips lift up. Inhale, stretching arms up overhead. Exhale, arms release by your sides. Inhale, lower down. Feel that little curve in the lower back. Exhale, lose the curve. So it's like you pull your belly in and up as you direct your tailbone forward. Inhale, stretching arms up overhead. Exhale, release your arms by your side. Inhale, lower down. This time we exhale, direct tailbone forward, lift up. And then a couple of options here. You can either grab the outer edges of your mat, snuggle your shoulders underneath you, press into your feet, see how high you can lift your hips, and it might not be very high at all, that's okay. But do feel those inner thighs releasing down as your tailbone lengthens forward. Feel your shoulder blades press down into the mat underneath you. Feel that stretch, that evenness across your heart and chest. Good. As you exhale, lower down. And then we're going to come up into our bridge pose here. So have your block handy. As you inhale, press into your feet, lift hips up. And then you want to put that block underneath your sacrum. If you don't have a block, you can use a couple of books. You could roll up your yoga mat. A firm cushion from the couch would work. What tends to happen here is we get this block in our lumbar. So that lower back is going to feel really, really uncomfortable. You'll know that you're at the right spot because it feels pretty stable here. So typically we need to bring the block a little closer towards our heels. And we're going to be here a couple of minutes. So start to shift gears a little bit. Let the breath begin to stretch out and lengthen. The inhale gets a little longer. The exhale gets a little longer. And though this is a more passive back bend, more restorative back bend, keep a little awareness in your legs. Make sure that you're not turning your toes out or rolling to the outer edges of their feet. There's still that directionality of tailbone shifting forward, inner thighs releasing down. Just enjoying the sound of your breath and this stillness, this quiet. Sometimes that can feel a little uncomfortable. We're used to having lots of background noise. Our brains are always thinking about things. How does it feel to just be in stillness? Got another minute here. Good. On your next inhale, press into your feet. Lift your hips up off that block. Just move it out from underneath you and then lower on down. Nice and easy. Give yourself a little squeeze here. I kind of like knees a little wider than hips distance apart. Can rock a little bit from side to side. And then place your feet back down on the mat. So I'm going to cue reclining pigeon here. If you know that you prefer single pigeon or double pigeon and you're familiar with those, you could do those as an alternate hip stretch. But otherwise, we're going to have this bridge pose set up. We're going to take our right ankle and cross it above our left knee. So you want to flex that right ankle. That helps to engage the muscles above this knee. And then you can start with your right hand gently pressing into that right thigh. So you're just finding a little space here. Breath smooth and steady. And again, we're shifting gears. So everything is lengthening out. There's not that heated quality anymore of our Ujjayi breath, our vinyasa practice. If you're getting a nice little stretch in this right hip, stay here like this. Otherwise, you can start to bend your left knee into your chest, interlace fingers around that thigh or the shin, depending upon flexibility, limb length, all of those different things. You can wedge this right elbow into this right thigh here. Again, that just intensifies the stretch. Breath smooth and steady. Just noticing, getting curious about how your hip is feeling here, that right hip, feeling a nice deep stretch there. All right, so If you've hugged your knee in, you're just going to stay there. If you're seated, you're going to find a little twist, or if you're in your single pigeon, so you're just going to kind of modify as well. But if you're in your reclining pigeon, release that right foot down, or left foot down rather, keep that right ankle crossed above, bring your arms out in a T shape. And then as we exhale, we're going to roll to the outer edge of the left foot, stamping that right foot down into the mat, and then just maybe gazing out over your right fingertips. This right sit bone is going to lift up. You're going to feel a nice little stretch here, a little twist. If you are in your double pigeon, you're just walking your hands off to the left, so finding a little seated twist. You can be doing that as well in your single pigeon. Few more breaths. Good. As you inhale, you come back up to center, uncross your right ankle, and then taking left ankle above the right knee, flexing the foot, just starting here, a few breaths, pressing your right hand into that right thigh, so you're helping to find some space in the lower right side of your waist. Breath smooth and steady. Observing how this side feels different in your body, if it feels different. And if you're getting some good sensation here, stay here like this. This is perfect. If you feel like you have a little more space to go, bend your right knee in. Left hand comes through the triangle you've made with your legs. Fingers go around your thigh or your shin. You can wedge left elbow into that left thigh. And that just intensifies the hip stretch that you're feeling here. Keep that breath smooth and steady. Maybe send the exhale to the places where there's some intensity. Couple more good breaths. Good deep inhale. Exhale, release, and then we find that twist. So arms out in a T shape. Good. As you exhale, roll to the outer edge of that right foot. Left foot stamps down into the mat. So it's kind of just like this funky little twist with these pigeon pose, reclining pigeon pose legs. Maybe you're looking out over your left fingertips. You also might just be looking straight up at the ceiling if that feels better in your body. Good. As you inhale, you come on up. Uncross. If you're upright, you're going to just roll onto your back, and we all are going to hug our knees into our chest here. You can rock a little bit from side to side if that feels good. Maybe you want to come into a quick little happy baby, so grabbing the outer edges of your feet, gently pulling down. If that's not happening, you can pull down on the thighs. And we begin to move towards our Shavasana, our final resting pose. So that can look classic in your body. Legs a little wider than shoulders distance apart, or hips distance apart, arms a little wider than shoulders distance apart. You can snuggle those shoulder blades underneath you. I'm gonna feel the back of the neck nice and long. If there's any tugging sensation in your lower back, bend your knees, take your feet wide, allow the knees to knock in towards each other, or You can slide a little something underneath your knees, blocks, blanket, bolster, just giving yourself a little support. Nice deep inhale here. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, ha. And then completely surrender, completely melt in. Moment or two in our Shavasana, resting pose. And take a deeper inhale. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go, ha. And then begin to wiggle fingers and toes. Bring a little gentle movement back to your body. Maybe stretch your arms up overhead. Staying soft and quiet, you're going to roll to one side or the other. Find the fetal position. Just using your hands to help you press up to a comfortable seat. One final check-in. So just noticing how you feel differently physically. Noticing how your breath has shifted. Noticing how your headspace has shifted. Send yourself love and gratitude for showing up, for making the effort, starting the week off in a really nice way. Promise yourself that you're going to carry this good feeling you've worked so hard to achieve with you into the rest of the day, the rest of the week ahead, the rest of the month ahead. Bring your palms together at your heart. Bow your head with a smile. Terrific work today, yogis. Thank you. Namaste. Good to see all of you.